What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Destiny. We're going to be continuing with my little series I started. We're talking about all the guns that are already in Destiny and how they are acquired and if they are worth your time. Normally the series was what is a gun that's worthy to ascend, so I tell you guys if a gun was worthy to bring to the next level because it was just that amazing. But this gun already comes at its base max level, so you can't ascend it. We're just going to change the description of the series to whatever guns are good, let's make a video about them. This gun is an exception. Anyways, so the gun that we're going to be talking about today is called Dreg's Promise, and you actually acquire this gun via doing one of the Elder Cipher bounties. How you actually acquire an Elder Cipher bounty is you have to actually complete the Prison of Elders, but if you have actually not finished or beat the level 35 version, if you kill Skolos, you will actually automatically get it. So if you have not killed him at all, this will automatically drop. So if you haven't done that, do that. Or it's a random drop for level 25s and level 24s. But if you have not beaten the level 25 one, you're going to get it regardless. But if this is your second Elder Cipher and you want to go through the next weapon, you are thinking about the Dreg's Promise, stay to the end, please. Do level 34 Prison of Elders, that also has a random chance for it to drop. Anyways, let's move on to the gun and its stats. Anyway, so just stats in general. This thing has maxed out fire rate, but that fire is held back by the fact that this gun is a burst rifle type of shooting mechanic. So basically, you pull down the trigger, it fires 3 shots. We'll talk about that, how that is kind of weird, the shot pattern within that. Anyway, so the fire rate's crazy, the impact is little, but this thing does, I think, have maybe an increased crit, because I do notice I'm doing more than like a scout rifle or like an automatic weapon, like an assault rifle, so I do know I'm doing more damage than that. So this gun, I think, does have a tiny bit of a crit increase to make up for that tiny little impact. As of range, it's got a decent amount of range. I never really found that the drop-off was too bad, but we'll talk about that little range factor in a little bit. Anyways, stability, it's really good, but it kind of needs to be, because again, that fire rate is stupid a lot. And also, it's a burst rifle, so the fire rate is just kind of awkward to control because it's always gonna kick. You can never just get a steady gun. It's always gonna start jumping around, especially if you are me and just button mash the share of the fire button because you want to make use of that fire rate. As a reload speed, it's like a phantom reload speed, just like with the sidearm that the Queen gives you. It looks like you reload instantly. Not really the case, but it's still a fast reload, something you're not gonna really care too much, and you can actually cancel the reload out, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, anyways, as of magazine size, you originally have 18 bullets. I know that doesn't look like it. I think we have 21. That's only because I do have on the extended magazine, and I'll tell you guys why I chose that in a little bit. So yeah, that's the stats. The weapon itself, it's special weapon text. Probably should have led with this, but fuck it, we're doing it now. I am a marvel with 10,000 arms. I think that's just referring to the fact that Fallen got like 3 arms, the 4 arm. I think it's 4 arms, which is... oh, spiders. Oh, God. Anyways. Alright, guys, so before we get into the rundown of all the perks in the gun, which I actually end up falling off and going on a tangent with why I think the gun's bad. It's kind of a mixture. Not bad, it's just not powerful. But anyways, this gun, first of all, looks phenomenal, like beyond cool, and there's one aesthetic thing that I noticed that I really thought it'd be worth telling you guys, and it's basically when the magazine is empty, when you have no more bullets at all, the little light that's usually red on the tip of the gun, it turns orange. So just a little thing, just thought I'd point it out because I noticed it. I thought it was cute. Anyways, so then the other thing is the fact that this gun, the reload is probably the coolest reload in the entire game. Except you can also fuck with it, because what it does is basically it's like a Call of Duty ray gun reload. So it'd be like a shotgun. You'd pop it out and the shell would fall out, and then you'd put another shell in there. Except if you were to like let the thing pop out, like the little shell fly out, and you were to sprint, it would basically cancel the animation, and then you just see your gun close, and then like the energy shell fly back into the gun, making no sense, but it's worth it because again the reload animation is amazing. Anyways, on to the perks. Just want to point out those 2 cool little aesthetic things that I noticed. I appreciate it. The bunch put them in the game. And now let's get into the perks, but also what makes the gun kind of, yeah, just uneven. Alright, so as of like barrels and their scopes and stuff like that, I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just going to tell you guys the one I use, the CQB Ballistic. The reason why I use this one is because it reduces the recoil a little bit, which is... the recoil on this gun is extremely weird. We'll get into that when we're done, because I'm gonna save my nitpicks and why this gun is kind of doesn't work into itself at the end of like a little tiny talk session. So if you guys want to hold it for that, then cool. But anyways, the second thing, the second perk that this gun has is actually called Grave Robber. Now this is a perk that is primarily good for anything up close, because what you do is you need to get a melee kill, and that melee kill has a chance to refill every bullet in your magazine to your gun. This is a particularly good perk to have on a shotgun because you're going to be up close anyway. But with the Dreg's Promise, it's not really, in my personal opinion, it's not made to be up close and personal, and you'll know that by looking at the end perk and also a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, So Grave Robber, again, what the perk is you need to get a melee kill, and you have a chance, not a for sure thing, you have a chance to get a full magazine just by getting a melee kill. But it is a chance thing, and that chance thing, from my experience, but then again, I just may be unlucky, is not that great. It's not something you should depend on at all. Now, if this perk was changed to you always get full magazine when you do get a melee kill, then absolutely, I feel like this would be, the gun would make sense, because it would make it like an up close and personal type of weapon that you literally just fire tons of electric bullets in, which makes sense. Okay, I'm getting on a rant here, and I need to save that for the end of the video so people that don't give a shit can skip. My bad. Alright, so Grave Robber, you get melee kills, you have a chance to increase your magazine to the max. Boom. Alright, so now we're getting to the augmented perks. We got Snapshot, aiming this weapon is incredibly fast, kind of useless. Anyways, then we got Field Scout, maximum ammo capacity is increased, so this bumps up to 21 bullets. That's also the thing I run with. And then we got the one that I would normally run with, which is a stability increase called Perfect Balance. Now, the reason why I usually would pick this is because the way all the sidearms work in the game is really weird. The way it kicks is also kind of strange to me, at least. So the recoil, I mean, is weird. So what I usually like try to get as much stability as possible, and also it has such a high fire rate that we kind of want that, because again, it's just kind of really hard to control, especially if you like to pull down the trigger a lot, which is what I love to do. I don't like to burst like boom, wait, boom. Wait, I don't like doing that. I just fucking button mash like crazy. And this is probably the best time to go into this. Yeah, sure. All right. So basically, this is how the weapon fires. I'm shooting a wall here. You guys have seen that. Now this is with no perfect balance, so no increase of stability. All right. So how the spread works on this gun is really important. There's the one bullet that meets at exactly where you're aiming, but then the two other bullets kind of jump to the top. And that's where those two end up. So then you have this weird kind of upside down triangle pattern where one's at the bottom and two are at the top, which is neat. And then if we go to stability, this is where it's a weird phantom thing. I can say phantom as in like being confusing, because it doesn't really make sense in the gameplay, but I'm gonna show you guys some clips here. Basically, I have perfect balance on, and as you guys can see when I shoot the wall, it's pretty compact. Like it's enough, it's like the space of an enemy's head. But you guys can see I'm slowly aiming at a person's head right now, trying to shoot a fallen, and just like one bullet gets registered as it being a crit, and all the other ones don't. It's like this weird thing where the bullets for sidearms don't proc into crits. Like they don't realize that, hey, I shot you in the face. And that's also one of the reasons why I don't pick stability, is because, again, it should be a 3-shot crit, but it's not. Unless you're fighting a boss, which in that case, boom, you can actually, do a bunch of crits, because their face is big enough for you to shoot the 3 bullets in terms of their spread. It's fine. So another reason why I use max ammo instead of stability is just because it goes hand in hand with the kind of playstyle that I made for the gun. Not to say that this playstyle is overpowered as shit or really strong, just to say that it's the one I have the most fun with. So essentially, I use this gun as if it was kind of like a shotgun. So that means I get right up in the enemy's face, keep button mashing the trigger, fill them full of electric bullets, watch them evaporate, and then melee constantly. Get behind people. That's why I have that legendary armband that allows you to do massive damage when you're behind someone. So I kind of use it, while it's kind of like my melee build. I just incorporated that into my melee build. Is it as good as shotgun? Not even close. But anyways, we'll get into that in a little bit. Alright, so now let's talk about the exotic perk that this gun has. Now this exotic perk, yeah, people say is broken, I've heard, but I think it's a misunderstanding of what the perk is or does. And this is the perk. Okay, basically the perk does work. Essentially what the perk says is it's shocked rounds, and essentially it says high rocketed shocked rounds with enhanced target acquisition. High rocketed I think just means it increases its bullet speed. I did see a very tiny increase in bullet speed when I did use this gun. Anyways, and then the enhanced target acquisition is where people are like, it doesn't work, it's so stupid. Now, how the weapon is built up to this perk is basically melee. Grave Robber, you want to get up in people's face, you want to stab them, shoot them a bunch of times with the fast fire rate. It kind of goes in hand with that as well. With the bullets not proccing on crits, I think that's just a bug in the game, but also it kind of goes in favor of you just shooting an enemy 1,000 times in the chest, essentially is what that goes into. And then having just, again, the maximum magazine is you wanting more bullets to fire into people's chests, or heads if you're a good shot. Anyways, but with the high rocketed rounds, this perk only comes in effect when you're at pretty long range. And sometimes this can actually screw you, because I think the target acquisition gets confused sometimes, and you'll shoot a person up close and personal, and you'll aim for its head. And I think this is why those bullets weren't proccing properly, is because the first bullet would go exactly where I want, but the other two would kind of fuck around, and they'd always get the enemy, but it doesn't take into account that I was already aiming at its head, and if you were to go straight, I would get that crit. It's kind of weird in the sense that I don't think it actually follows where you're, like, the first bullet follows, but the second bullet doesn't. I think because I think the second bullets are trained to actually lock on to the enemy in the chest. So it does get a for sure hit, but it doesn't get a crit. That enhanced target acquisition, I think, messes with sometimes you getting crits, which is why I think that clip that I showed you with stability being maxed and it not getting a headshot when I got him in the head is kind of weird and weird. I can only say that. But anyways, the target acquisition only comes into effect when you are at range, significant range. Now I'm going to show you guys some clips here where the bullets do curve into you, but also really bad. Like when they curve into the enemy, it's almost like they wait till they're past the enemy to curve and then they end up missing. And then you can only be like a tiny bit away from their body in order for that to come into effect. Like the target acquisition is really not smart, I guess, because when I do shoot, see, like you guys can see in the video, I'm really like a little bit over from the guy's shoulder. I should be able to take like an inch away from the guy's shoulder and the bullets still curve and hit him if it's going off that. And if that's going to be an exotic perk, which an exotics are, if this thing's taking up an exotic slot, it should have a pretty beast exotic perk or do something that is like, you know, what it's supposed to do. So as of right now, I kind of squeezed in my thoughts and going over the perks. Now essentially, why the gun to me is not really worth ascending or even not. It's not that it's not worth getting. It's just that you're better off getting the shotgun, the wolf pack or whatever it's called, and then probably get this because then I think the Queen Breaker's bow is not the greatest. But anyways, the reason why this is kind of not good is because it tries to be everything and it ends up failing at it. So I think if you were gonna be like if you're gonna be a pistol that's gonna primarily be a pistol, not like trying to feed off melee, then Grave Robber should be stripped, and you should give this gun the perk of when you hit an enemy with your bullets, it has a chance to grant bonus ammo to directly to the magazine. I feel like that would go in hand with this gun, and then also it would make sense. So you could just kind of firing like crazy fast, which again makes sense. And again with Grave Robber, it is a slim chance that you're gonna get that full magazine again. So to have that would just make it so you could fire even more bullets. And again, that would just make sense even with the shocked rounds. Shocked rounds, I think, need to be improved to the point where they can actually either always hit their target, either do what it says, which is the enhanced target acquisition, meaning you could be really far away from your enemy the way you look, and the bullets would seek out your target. Because right now they don't really do that unless you're far the fuck away, which I think is stupid. Or I think the exotic perk should just be scrapped altogether and just put in a different type of mechanic into it. Like maybe put shocked rounds. When you get a crit kill, the enemy spontaneously explodes. Yeah, put Firefly in that shit. It'd be anything better than just having a perk that doesn't really do much or make sense. Now, one more little gripe is this gun has all the problems that the Queen's pistol, the other sidearm in the game, has. Those problems being really hard to see when an enemy dies because it's that latency that's gonna fuck with you. And also, when you get a crit, sometimes you don't get a crit despite you getting a bullet directly to the enemy's head. It doesn't crit for some reason. It's just kind of that problem. I feel like that problem happens when you pull down the trigger fast, and this gun has an insane fire rate, so you kind of want to do that because you want to make use of that fire rate, but I don't really know. Now, bringing me to the thoughts on the weapon itself. Do you want it? Yes. I know it's surprising. I just told you a bunch of shit that was awful about it and why it needs to be fixed and what I think they should do to fix it. But yes, this is honestly one of my favorite weapons. Like, I like it that much. That's why I'm so mean with it, because I want to see it be a good exotic. And right now, it's not a bad exotic. It's just like it's in the same realm of like the exotics that are not that great and not even worth. Like you're better off having a shotgun. And that's why I distinguish this as is you're far better off having a shotgun than this gun, and it's an exotic. Like a shitty legendary beats out this fucking thing, which is bad. It's an exotic, and its quest line to obtain it is even harder, and there's no other way to obtain this weapon. So yeah, the bounty for it is quite hard and grindy. So the fact that you're not gonna, the guns aren't really powerful as fuck, then it's kind of like, what? It's weird. So yeah, I do think you guys should get it. It looks amazing. It's super fun to use. It's different. Do I think it's good? No. Do I think it's fun? Yes. Do I think it needs a buff, like real bad? Yes. Because again, like I said, the payout, you have to do a bounty for this, which if you guys have not done the Elder Cipher bounty, let me tell you, it is not something to scoff at. It is either going to be grinded for you, unless you have friends that are willing to help you to drop a hat, then yes, it's not going to be too bad. But for the most part, it's going to be pretty brutal. So with that being said, the bounty's pretty hard, so you're hoping that the weapons are good. And no, when you pick the Dreg's Promise because you like the sidearms and you like the way it looks, and then it ends up being kind of like not even as good as the legendary shotgun that's crappy with stat rolls, then you're like, oh, shit. I picked the wrong motherfucking thing. Again, this takes up a sniper slot. Like if it took up a primary slot, then I'd be like, okay, that's fair. It'd be like, a hand cannon. I'd have to, but I'd still be able to take a shotgun, which can melt things, a pistol, which I can melt things. you know, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just with both things kind of being hard to do. One, this thing takes up fucking forever to level up. Second, it's the bounty for it is pretty difficult. And again, you're expecting it to be pretty good because it's that chance to get an Elder Cipher that's pretty hard, and then it's completing it, which is difficult, and then it's leveling the fucking thing up, which is, again, takes a long time. So it's just kind of like a, what the fuck is it? This thing should be godlike, but it's just kind of, it's good. That's about it though. Again, if you guys are like, you're fucking stupid, I love this gun to tears, I'm with you, dude. I love the gun too. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it and say that it's a good gun, because it's not. If a shitty legendary shotgun beats the shit out of a sidearm, then that's kind of bad. Especially when it doesn't do any enhanced damage to fallen or anything. It's just a base gun. And it's pretty damn hard to obtain. So again, I think it should be powerful. So is this worth getting? Yes, second time around. I do believe the Wolf shotgun, or the other weapon that you get from the Elder Cipher, the shotgun variant, yes, that one is hands down better than all of this shit. Queen Breaker's Bro is meh to me. The sidearm is probably second, and then the first is the shotgun. So that's the order you go in: shotgun, pistol, Queen Breaker's Bro. And yeah, guys, that's gonna go ahead and end this video. I just want to go over this gun because I want to make a video about this because I love this gun to tears. I really hope it does get buffed, or at least decides on what it wants to be. If it's gonna be a long range thing, be a long range thing. In that case, go with shocked rounds and put something else in Grave Robber in there. Or do what I would love, or just replace Grave Robber with returning bullets directly to the mag on a kill, and that would be, you know, reasonable. That way I wouldn't have to get right up in people's faces. Or the opposite, make Grave Robber kill always give you a magazine when you get a kill instead of it being a chance thing. That way I wouldn't have to be like, I'm gonna run into that group of enemies with an empty magazine and then maybe on like a 1% chance get my magazine back, or otherwise I'm gonna get the shit punched out of me. It's a bad time. Anyways, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you guys did like this video, that means a lot and also shows me what you guys want to see from me as well. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and later, guys. Hey, for those of you who stuck around, one more gripe with the gun that I forgot to mention. I can't believe I forgot to mention it. It just may be the way I use the gun. Like I said, I use the gun as pretty much like a shotgun, so I just walk up to someone point blank, put the gun to the chest, and pull the trigger thousands of times. That's pretty much how I use the gun. But I'm not sure if it's just this playstyle that fucks with this, or if it's just a problem. You guys, please tell me. Do you guys run out of ammo, like, all the time when using this gun? It might have just been me, because I was primarily trying to get, like, footage of this gun. But I feel like this bitch chews through ammo like no other. It could just be me, but please tell me if I'm alone in this. But yeah. Anyways, bye guys. Try to squeeze that in there.